Good evening. My name is Olubankole David Okovemo Omokivi. Um, a Benin boy by upbringing, an Oselu boy to be precise. One of the last Bendel generation. And I believe I have a stake in Edo State, Delta State, because I am a true Bendelite. I'm going to be sharing my views on COVID-19, pre COVID-19, COVID-19, and post COVID-19, especially how it affects Edo State and Nigeria in general. Stay glued. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back.
Hello, I'm be asking again by the international journalist Yamu. How do I feel? Or what is my take or my perception if the number of COVID victims in Nigeria will increase or decrease? With medical records, or with the recent happenings in the world, all over the world, especially in COVID affected areas, it will be difficult for it to decrease once it has been noticed that it exists in a country. Why? Because COVID has what we call an incubation period. It's just like when it starts with time, it will metamorphosize and start. It will not explode, incubate to give more viruses. It's a viral disease. So in this case, the moment it is notified, except there's what we call precautionary measures taken, it must escalate.
As I said before, Edo State is a vulnerable community when it comes to coronavirus outbreak. Although it is very slow there because of the weather, their way of life, their lifestyle, kind of food they eat, hot food and all that. So, yeah, but however, coronavirus cannot be cured, cannot be stopped. So they are working on it, on how to manage it. But we have had many viruses, many diseases, HIV and all that. So these are things that are still existing today. But they need to push themselves. Government need to work more in educating people on how to manage illness, how to manage things like COVID-19, and how to protect themselves, and then more health promotional awareness. That is what Edo State need at the moment, because yes, coronavirus is going to increase the way we are seeing it. It's going to go increase. You look at United Kingdom today, it's going viral every day. So even in China that we said they stopped it, it's still going to come back again. But when we have protective measure in place in terms of medication or protective measure and all that, everybody get used to it. It's about health education. Just health promotional officers need to come out, educate children the language they can understand. That is what Edo State need right now. So they need the right people, especially when we in the Edo diaspora, we are available for such thing to support them in any way out. So Edo State need to be ready for coronavirus increase. Yes.
Well, if you ask me, the amount of COVID-19 cases in Edo State, I won't like to be a bearer of bad news. But if going by our living structure, if going by our interaction and what has been put in place so far, I dare say that we are likely to see an increase rather than a decrease in the number of cases that will be recorded in Edo State. Mind you, the people who, people will be traveling through the state, people will be coming in. We actually live within communal settings, even within our homes. Like we have in the area of the face me and face you living structure, which is one of the common style of living in the state. Where you have at least 4 to 5 people on an average in a room, in a house of 10 rooms, share the same toilet and bathroom, share the same kitchen, share the same communal passage, share the same veranda. It will be difficult to manage those kind of interaction in an isolating situation to prevent a pandemic. So I believe we should look inwards and see fashion ways at which people who live in such settings, in family houses, our markets, our communal interactions. Let's see how we can manage it well, because it's going to be a problem.
Mr. Steve Nash Ozono joined us by email. He sent one in saying, I believe the amount of COVID-19 cases will definitely decrease because the human body has a way of overcoming all manners of diseases and viruses that have plagued human race all over the years.
Hello everybody, my name is Donald Akibe. The question is, do I feel that the amount of coronavirus COVID-19 cases reported in Nigeria is accurate? I don't think the amount is accurate for several reasons. Number one, it's that the testing method, we don't even know what kind of testing, where they got their testing equipment. There have been claims about especially from Spain, there have been claims that the equipment testing kit received from China are not found out to be false. So I don't know where Nigeria got its testing kit from, and because of that lack of transparency, I will have strong doubts about the accuracy of the testing done in Nigeria. So that's number one. Then two, there's also the lack of accuracy, lack of transparency on the part of the government organization doing the testing. We don't know what is their criteria for the testing, who they are testing, and what they are testing actually. So due to those lack of transparency and things like that, I have strong data about the accuracy. I don't think it's been reported. Normally, even in Western countries, yes, you can't test everybody and test everybody accurately. No, that cannot be done. But for the people who have reported they are feeling the symptoms, have they been tested in Nigeria? Have the correct amount been tested? No, I don't think so. Then there's also the lack of trust from the people towards government organization. So because of that, that's an issue in accuracy. So no, I don't believe that the amount of the COVID cases in Nigeria it's accurate. Thank you very much.
Yes, first of all, in the area of the amount of cases that have so far been tested in Nigeria, I still believe that we are lagging behind as a country and even as a state, because we are over 120 million. We're over 200 million Nigerians. And I don't think we've been able to do half of 1% of our population. So if we've not been able to do half of 1% of the Nigerian population, spread around 36 states and the FCT, we've been able to do less than 12,000 Nigerians. So for the fact that we've not been able to scratch the surface, we can't say we have an accurate data. Remember, we have a very porous border. We have very porous borders on all sides. Even from the sea, we have a porous border. So there is no way we can say we've been able to scratch the surface. And in the case of Edo State, Edo State is a transit state. So, I mean, people pass through and back, and some people choose to settle. So it's also going to be an issue trying to track. So, we haven't scratched the surface yet. So, I don't expect Edo State to scratch the surface yet.
Do you feel the amount of cases reported in Nigeria is accurate for COVID-19?
I'm not very sure of the data as how it's being processed in Nigeria.
What about in Edo State?
In Edo State, I could consider it a bit. Yes, it could be. They could be correct because the population there, Edo is a bit. I think that can maybe correct.
Mr. Steve Nash Ozono joined us by email. He sent one in saying, Steve says, if I say yes, it is accurate, that means I have full knowledge of how the cases are collected. On the other hand, if I say not accurate, how did I come to that conclusion? For me, I think it's too early to make a conclusion on this issue, so let's wait for the storm to die down before probing the accuracy.
Hello everybody, my name is Donoda Hibe again. It's regarding the incident of enforced isolation. First and foremost, the law drafted for in Nigerian's case was not comprehensive. It's not kind of comprehensive. So the issue of enforced isolation could be breaching the Human Rights Act because it's the drafting of the COVID Act in Nigeria was not properly done. There was issue with the drafting. The intentions are different from what was actually drafted. So because of that, there's the issue of enforced isolation being illegal. But that aside, like I said, for those technical issues, we know what the government is trying to do. The government is trying to protect public health. So yes, so the issue of enforced isolation could be there. Yes, people do complain that they are not sick. They are not sick. So why are they being basically isolated? Why are they being, we could call them arrested, detained? Why are they being detained? Yes, if you don't feel the symptoms, we understand that if you don't feel the symptoms, you might not. Yeah, we understand. But has there been transparency on the side of the government? If somebody has been tested and he's found to be positive, he has tested positive for the disease, have you shown him that he has been tested positive? Then at the end of the day, how long are you detaining him? There are people who it's been reported that they were detained for more than the normal 14 days. Somebody was reported to be detained for 43 days. So that it's wrong, that is illegal. So except for the drafting of the law, there's a lack of transparency on the part of the government government organization doing the testing. So that is that, and they are taking their time. So when you feel somebody who is not displaying symptoms, but he has tested positive, what have you done? What are you, and you have detained him because you have detained him. So what are you doing to reassure him? So we can't keep going on with this arbitrary way of doing things. There should be communication from the government side, from the authority side, to say, hey, you're not feeling the symptoms, but you've tested positive. So for that reason, when there's lack of communication on that alone, legally, that could be unlawful. So yes, you might want to, you might be doing it for public health, but if you are not communicating properly, it could also be, technically it could be unlawful. So the issue of enforced isolation, detention, basically, it's, aside for the poor drafting, there's also the unlawfulness issue around it. So for that, on the side of public health, I would say yes, they should keep doing it, but there needs to be more communication and the law needs to be properly drafted. Thank you.
Some people are complaining of enforced isolation in the centres and that they are not sick. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's been brutal. The isolation system, the way it was introduced is a bit, it's not controlled. So I feel people must have been, let me say, it was not well planned for.
What about in Edo State?
In Edo State, the same. Generally, I would say generally, Nigeria, it wasn't well planned for. So people they've not been used to that isolation setup. So it was a bit, the enforcers they were too rude to the citizens.
Mr. Steve Nash Ozono joined us by email. He sent one in saying, on enforced isolation, Steve says, as for me, I will urge the people to comply because nothing good can come out of being disobedient.